Kia ora koutou katoa, nau mai hara mai ki te ao Hākinakina, your sports show right here on your Tribal Pulse, Te Kore Mako o Taranaki, 94.8 FM and 98.4 FM. Well, she is one of Rugby League's rising stars. She's a dynamic hooker from the Parramatta Eels, proud Māori wahine, and a favourite both on the field and across social media. Born and raised in Australia, but deeply connected to her Māori whakapapa, she has quickly become a standout in the NRLW, inspiring many with her resilience, her cultural pride, and the way she carries her community with her each step of the way. We're excited to have her here with us on the show, especially as she prepares to represent New Zealand Māori at the All-Stars game right here in Aotearoa in a couple of weeks' time. No mai hara mai, Rueben Cherrington. Kia ora, welcome to the show.
Kia ora, thank you for having me. It's a privilege to be here.
Awesome, Rubes. Good to have you on the show. Been looking forward to this one. Had you on the hit list for a little while. So before we get started, ko wai koe, no he koe, just a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Kia ora, ko motatau me mātou hepo tōku maunga, ko taikiro te awa, ko tauponui a te moana, ko ngā tukumata whaoro me te aroa ngā waka, ko manukoriki me rere ao ngā whare tūpuna, ko Ngāti Hine me korohe ngā hapu, ko Ngāpuhi me Ngāti Tūwharetua ngā iwi. Ka here mai tōku papa mai te tai tōkuro, ko Rueben Cherrington tōku papa. Ka here mai tōku mama, mai te puku o te raki, ko Andrea Jordan tōku mama, ko Rueben Cherrington tōku ingoa, tēnā koutou katoa. Sorry, thank you so much. Oh, a bit nerve-wracking there. That was my first time saying both sides in one. Like, obviously, I've always just said dad's side because I knew the whakapapa from that side more than my mum's, and it was just like this year I needed to up my game and you know, put them both in because that is essentially me, you know. So
beautiful pai tō kōrero, pai tō whakapapa. Awesome to hear you do that, and that's right there. We're starting off with a bang whānau straight into it, and awesome, Rubes, that you're really embracing that whakapapa on mum and dad's side as well.
Yeah.
So lovely to have you on the show. Now a little bit about yourself. So you grew up in Perth. Can you tell us a bit about what your early rugby league journey looked like over there, and how that environment shaped you as the player and the person that you are today?
Yeah. So, as you said, I was born and raised in Australia. Born in Blacktown in New South Wales, where Sydney is where I live now. But I was raised in Perth, and that's where I have all my earliest memories. And with rugby league, I started playing when I was 7 years old, and my first club was the Rockingham Sharks, so shout out to them. But the club that I hold dearest to me is South Perth Lions, because that's where I spent majority of my years, and they have obviously shaped me into the player I am today. But Perth holds such a special spot in my heart to bless me with the opportunities that where I am today. But yeah, I started playing at 7 years old with the boys, and then once I got to the age of 12, I couldn't play rugby league with the boys no more. So back then, rugby league wasn't as strong as it is today with the girls' pathways. So I ended up stopped playing rugby league, and I played rugby sevens because it was booming back then, and it was the fastest growing girls' sport back then as well. So I jumped codes and then got a few years in me to play rugby sevens, and then when the pathways strengthened in the girls' pathways, I started playing both, and then I guess, you know, the rest is history, and here I am now.
Beautiful. What are some of your fondest memories of Perth? It's a lovely place over there, but you know, from your childhood, from your teenage years there, you know, how do those memories keep you grounded, and what are some of your fondest memories?
I think back then, my family, we all used to be under one roof, so it's nice looking back and knowing that Perth was home for us back then, and you know, we were under one roof, so it's just special because life will never be like that again, because we're all under different roofs now, and you just can't beat the beaches over there. Like, they're just so beautiful. No matter where I've been in Australia, they can't top Perth beaches, man.
Tautoko, that's some pretty nice beaches over there. Now, even though you were born and raised in Australia, you've been very open and outspoken about how important your culture is to you, your Māori culture. How have you strengthened those connections over the years, and what has it taken for you to kind of step into those spaces?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking this question. This is actually a very well question, and I have so much to say about this because for me, it didn't really start until a year ago where I kind of learnt more about being Māori. Like growing up, I've known that I'm Māori, and mum and dad instilled in us, all they could with being Māori, but it feels a little bit different being an Australian-born Māori due to the fact that you're not surrounded by, whānau, you're not, well, not whānau, but you're not fully immersed in being Māori because you're not on your whenua, you're not surrounded by, the language and little things like that. So for me, making All Stars last year was my first stepping stone into actually knowing who I was on a deeper level. So last year, making All Stars, it was that whole campaign after All Stars that it's like I had a calling from my tupuna to come home and really unlock more about being Māori. So like if you asked me to do my pepeha a year ago, I could only say so much. It was limited, whereas like now I know where I come from. I've swum in my awa, I've swum in my wana, I've climbed one of my maunga. Like it's just so many little things that it's not just words, it's my story. It's where I whakapapa back to.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. Even some of our whānau at home could learn a lot from that. Jump in your awa whānau, climb your maunga.
Yeah, because
it's well, like you said, it's more than just words, right? You're living
exactly.
and breathing who you are and your identity, and that's amazing. And what strength it takes to jump into those spaces. Now, what does it personally mean to you to pull on that New Zealand Māori jersey? You said last year it was the first time for you, to represent your whānau, your whakapapa on one of the biggest stages of the year. But how has that changed you?
For me, it was such a privilege and an honour to make that team and just pull on that jersey, because you're not only representing yourself, like it's your whānau, your iwi, your hapu, what connects you back to being Māori. And I think the most coolest thing about All Stars is that you can't play unless you have Māori blood, like you toto, like it's just so amazing that that's culture. And then playing on the highest stage of rugby league is going up against another Indigenous from obviously over here in Aotearoa. But it's just so cool because it was a moment that it was a pinch me moment. And I remember running out on the field and obviously them doing their war cry and then us doing our haka, and I just could not stop like crying because I just felt so overwhelmed with all this feelings, and it was just an amazing experience. It's something that I hold dear to my heart, and it's literally the best memory in rugby league that I have to this day. Hopefully I can make more, but no, that jersey is so special, and I hope that I can keep making this side and then keep representing our people. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, we're going to talk more to the All Stars soon, whānau, but we're going to go to a quick break now, so make sure to stay tuned as we come back to talk to Rueben about community and giving back, and also the All Stars game that's coming up soon. Kia ora koutou whānau, welcome back to Te Ao Hākinakina. We're here with Rueben Cherrington. We had an awesome kōrero about her upbringing, where she was brought up, and the impact that the Māori All-Stars has had on her life. Now, community and giving back. You're someone who gives a lot back to your community. What are the ways you like to stay involved, and why is that mahi of giving back to your community so important to you?
Yeah, so giving back to community is very important to myself because it keeps you humble, essentially. Like you give back to people that no matter what, if they're sorry, let me restart that. Giving back to community is so important to me because it keeps you humble, and just the feeling you get from helping others or inspiring others is like no other. For myself and my sister too, like we are big in giving back in community work because it's just something that we love. Like the smile you see on kids' faces or just anyone, and just them reaching out and saying that we have inspired them, or we're just anything to do with that is just awesome because, as I said, these kids, or well, kids especially, they're the future generation.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure it not only fills your heart, but the heart of those kids as well. So keep up the awesome mahi there. Is there any particular moment where you felt the impact of your community work and realized like how much your journey inspires others? Is there like a key moment where you've just gone, wow, this actually has a real impact?
I think for me, always being with my sister, I felt like it was always her, but essentially when there wasn't an actual moment, but when I started receiving, that the love to me, like as an individual, it made me realize like it's not just my sister, it is me too. Like I didn't feel like I was on her status. And then so when I started receiving like messages from people that are reaching out saying thank you so much, keep inspiring me, like there actually was a time, so when I used to wear a purple headgear, because I don't wear headgear anymore, but there was a girl, she's like my number one fan when it comes to para or anything I have to do with life essentially. She actually bought a purple headgear for herself because I inspired her so much, and I was just like, oh my gosh, wow, like you love me that much, like that makes me so happy. And I just thought that was so cool, and she still wears it to this day, and she comes to all my games, and like it's just little things
Ah,
like that. I'm just like, wow.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you've built a strong presence on social media as well. How do you balance, kind of that authenticity while of being yourself, while also handling, the visibility and influence that comes with being, big online, having a big following.
I think for myself, authenticity sells. So if you're not being you, eventually you will get found out, whether
Mm,
that's in community or in public, because you can't fake that, you know what I mean? And that's what draws people to you, is just being yourself.
love that. Love that. Now, do you feel social media has kind of helped you connect with young players or, or Māori fans but across Australia and Aotearoa?
Yeah, 100%. Like in this day and age, social media is such a well way
Yeah.
to connect with others, and it's in this day and age, it's what all the youngins use. So, and everyone, it's taken over life essentially, but the good in it is that it does connect us, and it does push out good messages, and just
Mm.
connecting with others. So it's, I guess that's the upside to it.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Now, getting on to the All Stars, we're not far away, and I know that you have been training the house down. Having the All Stars game here in Aotearoa is obviously huge, so it must be extra special this year for you guys. What emotions come up for you knowing that you'll be able to represent your culture on your home whenua?
Yeah, I can already feel the tears right now. Like it's just, I already, if I was crying over here when we were playing at Combank last year, I'm gonna be tenfold over there. And I just
Mm,
know that being surrounded by our people over there, it's just gonna feel so powerful. But I don't want to have too much of a tummy whistle. I want to, hold on
yeah,
to it and be staunch in it. Like show them that this is who we are. Like this is Māori.
awesome. Can't wait. Can't wait. Now, you've spoken about how much you love being in Aotearoa. What is it about being here that feels different or special, for you compared to anywhere else in the world?
Yep. Um, for me, going home, it's like you fill your cup every time you go back. So no matter if it needs refilling or if you just need a refresh, it's just like you just feel a sense of relief as soon as you land, as soon as you walk through those gates. Like it's just all this weight and mamai just gets lifted off of you, and it's just taken,
Mm,
and you get to revitalize yourself, you get to refresh. And it's so important because these days, we're all doing our mahi, and sometimes we don't realize we need these breaks until
yeah.
things get overwhelming. But um, going home is such an important thing, to remind you who you are, where you come from, and exactly just like a refresh.
Love that. Love that. Well, Rueben, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Your journey from Perth to the NRLW, from reconnecting with your culture to representing New Zealand Māori with pride is truly inspiring. You inspire the masses. We're all excited to see you run out for the All-Stars match here in Kirikiriroa and Aotearoa. And we know you'll continue to make your whānau, your culture, and your fans incredibly proud. Keep up the good work and look forward to catching up with you when you get home. Ngā mihi nui and all the best for the season ahead.
Ngā mihi, thank you so much and kia ora.